Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Nirmanan, officially doing my 6th installment of the Barracks. This is a video series where I'll be showing you guys some in-game footage of a video game, which just so happens to be Black Ops for your viewing eyes, and translating it into a real-life scenario or discussing the weapon in a real-life perspective. So with that said, guys, we got a pretty extensive list today. We're going to be discussing a lot of statistical and specifications for the weapon. So I think we'll just jump right into it today, and we'll be talking about the FAL. The type of weapon is going to be known as a battle rifle, and its place of origin is actually in Belgium. So you got Belgium, Germany, and it's a pretty well-constructed weapon from the looks and design of the weapon. With that said, it was brought into service in 1954, and it's being used till present date. It is actually being used in over 90 countries, which I found that to be very interesting. I actually didn't know it was used in that many countries, just because a lot of nations like to use their symmetrical weapon for their own country, and it usually doesn't expand too far out into the general, viewing eyes. But, for wars, I mean, it's just seen a lot of conflicts. There was actually a pretty extensive list, and overall, I'm pretty sure you guys could do a little bit of research and all that yourself if you're really interested. But overall, I'm pretty sure you can see, like, up to date, if it's being used from 1954 to present date, it's probably seen its fair share of combat, you know what I mean? Like anything that's Iran and Iraq, I'm sure that's definitely in there, and anything of that stature, I'm sure it had been in and, been placed upon the battlefield. With that said, the designer, unfortunately, I have absolutely no clue on how to pronounce this name, so you're going to have to stick in there with me just for a second, and if I didn't pronounce it right, hopefully you'll understand, because I have no idea. So I think it's, I think one of them is Ernest Viewer, and the other one's like Don Du Sever, so I think that's correct, but at the same expense, I do apologize if I'm not even close. The last one I tried, the Doer or something like that, it's a different, very weird name. So I do apologize if I did scrutinize that extremely bad. I'm sure I probably only said one of it right. So we're gonna move on to the next one though. Designed was in 1947 to 1953, and the manufacturer again is a really weird word, and I think it's Fabrique National, so the FN. It was produced in 1953 to present date, so that's overall pretty cool. I mean, it's been used for quite a while, as I've stated before, and a lot of production numbers of the weapon have been built of 2 million and counting. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of variants, and we're going to get into them here when we get into the weight, length, and barrel length, which is going to be starting right now. But with that said, guys, we're going to be talking about a bunch of numbers, and if numbers are not your thing, you could probably skip to something that's more interesting. But for anyone still interested, let's get started. We're going to have the FAL 50.00, or 43 grams, 9.4 pounds for the weight. The FAL 50.61, 30.9 kilograms, 8.6 pounds. FAL 50.63, or 3.79 kilograms, or 8.4 pounds. The FAL 50.41, 5.95 kilograms, 13.1 pounds. The length is going to consist of the FAL 50.0 fixed stock with 1,090 millimeters or 43 inches. The FAL 50.61 stock extended 1,095 millimeters, 41.1 inches. The FAL 50.61 folded stock 845 millimeters or 33.3 inches. The FAL 50.63 extended stock 998 millimeters, 39.3 inches. The FAL 50.63 folded stock, it's going to be 748 millimeters and 29.4 inches. The FAL 50.41 fixed stock is going to be 1,125 millimeters or 44.3 inches. The barrel length is now going to consist of FAL 50.00, 533 millimeters or 21 inches. FAL 50.61 is 533 millimeters or 21 inches. FAL 50.63, 436 millimeters, 17.2 inches. The FAL 50.41, 533 millimeters or 21 inches. With that said, we're going to jump into the cartridges. So if you just came back now, you missed a ton of numbers that probably didn't mean anything to you. With that said, we are going to jump into the cartridge. It's going to use a 7.62 by 51 millimeter NATO, which is pretty standard for NATO rounds. Honestly, a lot of, as I always state, NATO's pretty common amongst ammunition rounds these days. With that said, the action is going to consist of gas operated with a tilting breech block, which I have no idea what that is. So, with that said, if you are an intelligent gun enthusiast, I'm sure that makes a lot of sense to you, but unfortunately for the common person, that is just another word on my research notes. With that said, the rate of fire is going to consist of 650 rounds to 700 rounds a minute. With that said, muzzle velocity for the 4 listed FAL variants, we're going to consist of FAL 50.00, 840 meters a second, 2,756 feet per second, FAL 50.61, 840 meters a second, 2,755.9 feet a second, FAL 50.63, 810 meters a second, 2,657.5 feet per second, the FAL 50.41 with 840 meters a second, 2,755.9 feet per second. With that said, the effective range is going to reach about 400 to 600 meters, slight adjustments. Unfortunately, there is no feet featured, and I'm not sure what meters to feet is exactly, so unfortunately that is going to be something that I presume is slightly, well, it's going to be increased because it's feet, but I presume anywhere between 1.2 to 1.8k for feet a second. But anyway, we're going to go into the feed system now. It's going to be a 20 or 30 round detachable magazine, a 50 round drum. I did not know you could put a drum magazine on an FAL. That's pretty cool. Too bad games don't really implement that into their features, but overall you can have a 50 round drum magazine for the FAL, and overall it's pretty much a 20 to 30 round detachable magazine, as you've seen probably in your Call of Duty or your Battlefield titles. With that said, the sights are different. They're a little bit sporadic, I guess you could say. So they're going to be aperture, rear sight, post front sight, and sight radius. The FAL 50.00, the FAL 50.41 are 553 millimeters, 21.8 inches. With that said, the FAL 50.61, FAL 50.63 are equivalent to 549 millimeters, or 21.6 inches. So with that said, guys, we jumped into a majority of details, but there is actually another gun that is, I would say, a variant of this. It's a little bit weird, so I'm going to discuss it really quick, and we're going to get right into the main gist of it. With that said, the type of weapon I'm going to be returning to is known as the Strung Gewehr 58. It's a battle rifle. It was placed into origin in Austria. It was in service in 1958 to 1977. It was used by Austria, and that weird guy's name, the Sever dude that I tried to, discuss, D. Sever, he was the designer, and it was designed in 1946. The manufacturer consists of, I don't even know how to pronounce that. I think it's Styra de Miller Hunch, something like that. I'm sorry, I do apologize. Names are a little difficult to pronounce when they're definitely not enlisted in something that I see in a common day. With that said, the weight is about 4.45 kilograms, 9.18 pounds, to 5.15 kilograms, to 11.35 pounds. Length is 1,100 millimeters, or 43 inches, and the barrel length is 533 millimeters, 21.0 inches. The cartridge is a 7.62 millimeter NATO round. The action is gas operated, corresponding with a lot of weapons we see these days. And then you guys can jump to the muzzle velocity, which is 823 meters a second, 2,700 feet per second. With that said, the effective range is 300 meters, or 330 yards, and it uses a 20-round magazine, as we talked about in the previous weapon. So with that said, guys, I gave you 2 for the price of 1. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next installment. I'm going to sign off slightly early. So this is Nerd Mode On, signing off. Peace.